Hey guys, super stoked. We're going to take the jet ski out tomorrow. Fishing, yes. So I've never actually used this one to go fishing yet. I've done it in the past on the west coast of Florida. This time we're fishing the east coast of Florida. A little bit different. It's deeper water out here. The water may be murky, it may be clear, I don't know, but we'll probably be about 10-15 miles out depending on the water conditions. It's been rough around here lately, so we'll see what happens. So I'm going to spin the camera around real quickly. And you can see, if you remember from my last video, I had the installation of this jet ski rack, or I don't know, fishing rack, cooler rack, whatever you want to call it. So that's installed now. Get to see how that pans out. I have the charger charging up, so we'll have a full battery to go for them. And all my poles are all ready, geared up or rigged up, so I'll have a bunch, mostly drop poles, but I have the quick connects on them, so we'll be able to switch some stuff out. I have one set up already for trolling, so if we get into an area where there's a weed mat or something that we can find, actually do that. So that's pretty much it for today. Just making sure all the preparation's done. When you guys go out on these trips, it's always a great idea to prep your gear before the actual day. So that's what I just did right now. Everything's being prepped, and we'll take off probably pretty early tomorrow, fuel up. I'll get the bait tonight, either squid or sardines, one or the other, and then we'll take off. We're going to be fishing out of either Stuart or out of Jupiter. It's going to vary. I'm not sure which one we're going to use yet, but we will figure that out tomorrow. So until then, peace. Guys, so it's the next day. I'm super stoked. You can see behind me in the background the jet skis on the trailer, and we are going to Sanskrit Park. We're going to fish out of Stuart. So we'll take off this morning. We're going to shoot out of the inlet. I'm going to click on an app that I downloaded, and we're going to see if we can get on some reefs. But the thing today is, if it's nice out, what I want to do is actually basically try and see how far I can get out and get to some of the deeper water reefs, and start at them first and then work my way in. So we're going to see how it works out for us in a little bit. About 10 minutes away from the boat ramp right now, and hopefully it's not crowded. It's a weekday, so I'm hoping so. So see you in a bit. Bye. Hey guys, so it's a beautiful morning, and launching, there was a lot of people at the main dock, so I launched actually off the secondary dock. It kind of sucked, but I'm going to flip the camera around so you can actually see. What a beautiful morning. So we're going to get going here, and I'll flip the camera around when we're over closer to the inlet. Hey guys, the current situation, not good. It's hard to tell, but I'll flip the camera around for a second and show you what kind of conditions I'm actually fighting right now. So I'm going pretty slow, as you can see there, and most of the time I got water coming over the front of this thing because I'm fighting the waves. It's probably like 2 to 3 out here right now, and I can't get any speed up, which on a jet ski that kind of sucks. So I end up basically having to troll the whole time. So I threw one little line out to do some trolling, but as you can see, this is I mean, it's the temperature wise, the water feels great, but not for any type of speed. I can't like get anything going here. It's just like terrible. So I will slowly troll out. I'm going to try to get to a destination where there's a lot of little bottom feeders, probably in about maybe 60 something feet. And when I do that, I will turn the camera back on, or at least take some pictures and stuff, kind of what's going on. But yeah, not super fun out here right now. So the guys that were supposed to go with me that backed out. I understand why. You're a little bit more knowledgeable with the wave conditions. In a boat, this really wouldn't be that bad. Even like in a 17-foot boat, unless you get seasick real right, so I found a spot that I'm going to show you in the video right now. All right, so you can see the spot here, and that little blue dot that's around all the red icons or whatever. Those are all reefs. So I'm definitely not, I'm just floating. I'm not going to try to anchor up. I'm currently, and I'll spin the camera around real quick so you can see on the screen, 53, 54 feet of water. So there's nothing down here right now, but I'm just going to drift, or at least try to drift over some of these reefs. What I did was I threw 2 lines out. I got that line there, which, back this up a little bit. So I got that line working that side, and unfortunately the way I'm drifting, this other line here is basically kind of going towards the same direction. For some reason I'm spinning my steering wheel around, bars around, and I'm trying to get this thing to drift with the thing facing straight. So my rods are out the rear and they're actually not pulling off to the side, but I don't know, it's not working out and I'm just drifting sideways. So this type of fishing is not easy, believe me. It's a hassle spinning around on the seat. This is a 3-seater. I find it to be a hassle. We'll spin around on the seat, reach up front, grab the stuff that you need, use the cooler as a cutting board, and then basically it's definitely, you got to rig it up to make it more convenient. Like I need like some kind of pouch or something to put the knife, and you know, just something else. The cup holder too was terrible. I would have video recorded more of this horror story about getting out here, but trying to hold my cup of coffee in one hand and drive and use the phone. That's the other thing too, on your phones, put the screen, have your settings, if you're going to do this, for the screen to be always on so it doesn't shut down on you. I got this waterproof case on my phone and it just, you know, it doesn't pick up my fingerprint, so I got to keep swiping and then type in my passcode in to bring the screen back up, and it's just a hassle when the screen shuts off. So I'm not saying kill your phone, but at least it'll give you the option to turn your phone off when you want to turn it off and not have the screen just shut down on you. So that's another little key thing to do before you come out. Totally forgot my sunscreen, so of course you always forget something, and I forgot the sunscreen. So in that hecticness of, I thought I was all prepared and trying to get out early enough so I wouldn't bake in the sun this afternoon, and I totally forgot the sunscreen. So coming out here, I seen a bunch of sea turtles, and I just looked off in the distance here, and I seen another one come out of the water and then go back in. So definitely a lot of sea turtles. Oh, my mistake, they're dolphins. So there's dolphins swimming by out here. I'm just out here to kind of be relaxation and enjoy the day. It hasn't been super enjoyable up till now because it was, I mean, the inlet was a nightmare. Luckily, I followed some boats through the inlet and to get out, it was a little easier because I was in their wake. But the inlet was really rough because the tide is changing. It's going from low to high. And just out here, I mean, it's bumpy. So even trolling, I was trying to troll out to the spot with the phone, and it kept shutting off. And when you're going slow like that, it's very easy to go off course if you're not looking exactly at where you want to go. And that's what kept happening. I was going like 4 or 5 miles an hour, and then I drift, and it took me forever to get out to the spot, where if it was a calm day, I could have jetted out here in a matter of minutes, which took me like probably over a half hour just to get to this stupid spot. And I can still see land from here, so it's not like I'm out super far. Probably about maybe 6 miles out or something. I'm definitely under 10 miles where I'm located right now. So if I get into anything or whatever, I'll flick this camera back on and show you what I'm catching. But until then, yeah, just, you know, my first time jet ski fishing out here in deep water, and I just find it very awkward right now. So take that for granted, and if you're ever thinking of doing this, maybe you have more patience than me, but really it's all about preparation and how you have your ski set up too. So, all right, talk to you in a little bit. Bye. I didn't get the camera out because it wasn't really a big fish. It was only like maybe about 5 inches long. It was a little snapper, lane snapper. So I already chucked him back. So the spots do produce out here. Catching the fish wasn't that bad, but once again, if you look here, I gotta fight basically the two poles that are sitting in front of me to get to the poles that are actually on the further side. So I'm not sure if this would be more convenient if I had this portion here in the back side and I had the two. Yeah, I don't think that would work too good either, only because you're gonna basically want to work those two that are facing outwards. So yeah, I guess this is how it's got to be, but it makes it inconvenient if like trying to work in between these two poles. It wasn't too bad, but it's looking like I got another bite on this pole here. Yep, I got a bite there. So all right, let me catch this fish and I'll be right back. Okay, so I missed that one. I was talking and I didn't pull up on it in time. It was probably another small one because the bait actually was still on the hook. So at least they didn't steal my bait yet. But once again, not super convenient setup. I guess I just got to get used to working around it, because basically I'm going to buy a boat eventually, and I'm not sure if I'm even hanging on to the ski or not. So with that said, I mean, I guess it's cheap enough for now to get out here and do what I got to do, because it doesn't take much fuel to run these things, especially when I launched right out of Sanskrit and I just came out, you know, probably about 6 miles out. So yeah, I mean, for now the setup seems pretty decent, I guess, and I'll just have to get used to this and see how it goes. But just muscling your way around the ski and stuff, it's not, I'm so used to a boat where you can walk around, lay your stuff out on the deck, you know, you have plenty of room, you're not crashing into your rods when you're trying to do something. But for little tight quarters and stuff, people that are used to kayak fishing and stuff, I guess they wouldn't mind the setup, because once again, they're used to like being in a little tiny boat when they're out there fishing. So they're probably used to all this. So I'm gonna have to just adjust to this setup and go from there. But let me see how I do. I'm gonna do this one drift over these reefs, then probably spin around, come back, try the same thing. But I think on the second pass, I'm gonna drop down the bigger hook, and I'll put a full squid on there and see if anything down there, like a grouper or anything. That would be nice. All right, boys and girls, so that is it. It's after 11:30 now, and I've been out here since before 8. So I'm gonna head in now. I totally forgot my sunscreen, I said earlier, so I don't want to fry even though I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. I have nothing on my face. The hat actually did a real good job, thank you Walmart, and the shirt actually did a real good job, thank you Walmart. But today it wasn't my, I only caught a few little snappers. They were undersized, so nothing good there. But it was, I mean, it was still an adventure. First time out doing this. The phone, definitely you got to have. I have the fish finder on here, but it doesn't have the GPS feature. That would be a lot easier versus trying to finagle around with your phone, find a spot, and then, you know, because you're trying to watch the phone, the contour, and then grab your phone, your fishing pole, which unfortunately after driving, when you have it rigged up, especially with the weight on there, they kind of get tangled up and stuff, so you're not really prepared when you get over to your spot. It's definitely a workout, so if anybody says it's easy, it's not easy. But I'll try it again sometime, and hopefully we can get into some bigger fish and stuff. But yeah, today I'm just gonna call it quits for now. Go in, clean it up, and I got everything tied down really good back there. So I'm just gonna pretty much see how fast I can go in. So I'll see you in a minute. Heading back now. It's a little after 12. It's about 12:10, and whew, boy, that is a workout. Let me tell you. I would think that with a boat it would be more of a workout because you're muscling around a boat by yourself, but I mean the jet ski, it's not the launching or anything, it's just when you get out there, it's a workout maneuvering yourself on the jet ski, especially when it's rough. So I'm sure people that do it all the time are used to it, but this here on the west coast where I used to fish with jet skis, it wasn't wavy or anything over there. So, excuse me, it was a little bit easier. This is actually like, whew, definitely, it's something you got to get used to. So, with that being said, I'll have to definitely do it again, but next time, at least I know what to expect, and I'll try to modify the ski a little bit more, and not the ski, but just different holders and stuff that I use on it. Just for the fact that it was tough, like I had to find a spot for the knife, I had to find a spot for my cup that I was holding. Yeah, it was just a little awkward when you're trying to bait the fishing pole. I don't know how many times I dunked the fishing pole in the water trying to get the hook, friggin', you know, the bait on the hook. And it's definitely a technique that you got to do when you're doing it. So yeah, the ski's back there. The only casualty I had was one bungee cord. It was and I'll kind of put it in the video later on what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to, like, where the bungee cord actually clips on or something, I'm gonna actually have to lock it on one side, because once the other side comes off, the side further from you, meaning the back of the ski, you can't reach it down there unless you jump off the ski or something, or, you know, manage to finagle yourself over the cooler. It's possible to do. So when one came off, I actually just looped it around another portion of the ski, but it wasn't tight and it ended up falling off at some point. I ran in at about 20 miles an hour. It was fine. I'm still catching air at 20 miles an hour because it was so rough, but everything stayed on good. Those little straps worked out, and I was kind of hoping that well, not hoping, but I was kind of wondering if I should get ratchet straps or not. But those little pull straps seem to work fine. It's probably because they're new. Once they start getting old, the spring tensioner in them isn't as good. So but that thing actually held on really good, because once I got through the inlet, I just got on it, and I mean, basically there was a lot of boats coming in, so there was still waves and stuff, so I was like, you know, 50-something miles an hour going in, so skimming, bouncing around and stuff, and everything stayed tight. The little tie things that I bought at Walmart, and I'll probably show you a better picture of them, they actually worked out really good, holding the poles down and stuff, so none of the poles bounced out. So yeah, now it's time. I'm heading back to the house. Luckily I don't live far from the ramp. I will hose everything down and make sure I salt away everything, because your fishing poles, they get salty any way you look at it. Even if you don't dunk them in the ocean, they're still getting wet from the spray and everything else. So I'll clean everything up, put it away, and then we'll have a sum up of how the day went. So see you in a bit. Alright, so the adventure's all done. The ski is back in the garage behind me, and we'll go over pretty much a review of kind of how it went. So let me spin the camera around. So everything worked out good. Definitely hat came in handy. Definitely this material shirt, which is one of those real tree fishing shirts, came in handy. One of these straps, bungee cords, was lost, and due to the fact that one of them was hooked up here and the other one I had hooked there, but that back bungee cord, when you're on this side of the ski and you got all the poles lined up, you can't really get back here. I mean, just fishing the fishing pole into this hole is kind of like, yeah, a little awkward. So never mind trying to reach all the way down and hook this to the bottom there, which I wasn't able to do out there. So I will have to come up with a way to get this to lock in somehow, and then like either drill a hole or whatever, and then wrap the wire end, this end, around something so it can't come out. So, and having the box open here is obviously handy, because if the box swung the other way, which would be more aerodynamic if, you know, you're afraid your box was going to open if you're going pretty quick, it wouldn't work good. And this thing didn't open even when I was screaming back, and I had only one of those bungee cords on there coming back to the inlet, so that stayed secure. And this is just a cheap, I picked this up at Bass Pro Shop. It was on sale for like 20 bucks, so couldn't go wrong there. It doesn't fit perfectly, but it fits in. So the dimensions on this one is kind of tough to get the exact one. I'll eventually maybe find one, but for now this thing did fine. The ice stayed cool, and out in the driveway, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a pile of ice there, and that worked out good, keeping the frozen bait frozen and keeping my drinks cold. So that worked out good. These things from Walmart, they're like basically big twisty ties. These work perfectly to hold the rods in. So these here, and I actually have one here, gear tie. I can't remember, they might have been like $5-6 a piece. I don't think they were any more than that. I could be lying, they could have been $10, but I don't think so. I think they were around $5-6 a piece or something for one of these. And I ended up getting, this wasn't actually an extra one. I ended up getting like 3 of these. They come with 2, as you can see here. They come with 2 twisty ties. So those things work perfectly just to, you know, wrap around basically the fishing pole and then tie off to somewhere on here. Could you use little small bungees or something? Yeah, sure, you could. I mean, problem with the bungees I found is, like I said, with that one there, when it actually came off the back, I just had looped it around, basically, I think it was this frame or something, and then basically, because they don't really click together, or unless I would have tied a knot or something, which probably would have been smart, but usually you don't tie bungees in a knot. That's why that bungee ended up being a casualty out there. I don't know, must have came off while I was going from one spot to another spot. So that worked out. Everything else worked out good. So basically that setup there I can't bitch about. The phone, I'll show you in the video basically the GPS little spots that I was using and stuff with the phone. The phone, make sure your screen does not shut off. I mean, keep your screen on all the time. If you have a fish finder or whatever like this, if you have one with a GPS, that is 100% better, because mine doesn't have GPS. It came with the ski and I just use it. It's a decent fish finder. I mean, for a jet ski anyways, not for a boat or anything, but just to show you like depths and bottom contour and stuff, it actually worked out okay. But messing with the phone and trying to use the app, where the app actually had, so the app, I think you probably seen it where I was saying I'm the blue dot and everything else red, the little red icons or whatever that were around me, those were actually the reefs. That little blue dot, when you're wearing sunglasses and the sun's beating down on you and stuff, you can't tell what direction that dot is going, because it only has like a little tiny little line that kind of jets out from that little small dot. So I couldn't tell, a lot of times I couldn't tell what direction I was going. So I was like, you know, aimlessly driving, and I'm like, shit, I'm going the wrong way, and I had to spin around and then try to get some shade or something, and then try to figure out where the dot was actually pointing to. So that app there would have been better if they had like an arrow. I mean, instead of a blue dot, if they gave you an arrow, that way the head of the arrow would have been easier to basically see where the hell you were going. That was a pain in the butt. Besides that, I mean, just trying to get used to the way the rods, you know, fit up inside the holders, and then manipulating, you know, how you would kind of like grab a rod and then drop one out and then try to move one out of the way. It took a little bit of getting used to. And let me think, what else was there? The rack held on good, so that was a plus. So I had no issues with the rack holding up. It didn't come loose in any way, so that worked out fine. Yeah, and other than that, just like lunging forward into the front area to get like, because obviously I kept all my lures and stuff, which I didn't really even fart around with that much. I went up there just for I think the knife and trying to think, and maybe some hooks or something. No, it wasn't even hooks. I had my hooks set up. So it was the knife and maybe something else that I reached up front for. It's kind of a little pain reaching up front on a jet ski, if you guys know. I mean, trying to dig way down, because they actually go down pretty far. So kind of lunging around looking in there. I found that awkward, especially when it's calm. The conditions are like probably totally different, so you probably don't have any issues, or not as many issues when the water's calm. But when you're talking about 2 to 3 feet waves coming at you like every, I don't know, 5-6 seconds, it's kind of, it's more of a nuisance. So, and trying to keep you balanced while you're up on the thing and stuff. So it takes getting used to. People that are used to boats like I was, it's kind of like really big, like slap in the face when you're actually doing this offshore. It's totally different. I mean, basically you gotta it was even the way, when I had my weights on the rod and I was like going to one spot to another, and how you just take your hook and you tie it off to one of your eyes on your thing, and then basically, go from there into a different spot that you're looking for. Well, that weight ends up tangling all around your line and stuff, even though you have tension on it. The weight still spins around, then it gets all tangled up. So then when you get to your spot, you have to untangle the weight and stuff. So I've gone through that with a boat before, but I mean, there's different ways you can lay your rods out and stuff on a boat. On here, you're just sticking it in the back little rod holders there. And then basically when you get to the other spot, you're just praying that it's not too bad, and then you stop fishing and stuff. Maybe I should have used just one rod. Maybe I shouldn't even have tried to use 2, because 2 was just, for me, it was a little bit too much of a headache. So with all that being said, will I do it again? Sure, I'll do it again. I mean, I invested the money into that carrying rack and stuff, which luckily I didn't blow big money on. It was only like $230 something, I think, at the end of the day for the rack, and another $20 for the cooler, which the cooler you can always use for something else. In a nutshell, it's an experience. And today, obviously, the fish won. But they say, all the time, a bad day fishing is better than a good day at work. So that's the way I look at it. As I went out, it wasn't great for fishing. I only got into a couple of like smaller size snapper, and usually I'm pretty good on a boat. I can dial right in and get to a spot and actually, hook up with some decent fish. Today, I didn't have that luck, and the sun eventually gets to you. I mean, even with the hat and the shirt on and stuff, just sitting out there bobbing around in the sun, it's much better on a jet ski going. Like, you're moving, you got the wind blowing at you, the waves splashing at you, so you're staying cool. You go somewhere, you jump off, you snorkel around. To me, that there is still basically what a jet ski is made for. These guys that fish with them that are all rigged up and stuff, sure, I mean, basically maybe some of them even have canopies over them. I've seen that before too, but I don't think that I'm going to enjoy jet ski fishing like I enjoy to fish off a boat. So if you're a first-time fisher and you try first-time fishing off a jet ski, it's nothing like fishing off a boat. I mean, yeah, it's two different animals. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm going to cut this down now because I've been babbling on here. But you guys be safe out there, whatever you do. If you try doing this with your jet ski and you enjoy doing it or something like that, you can let me know. And if you have any pointers or whatever, you can also let me know that on, maybe I was doing something wrong out there, because I never actually watched videos of guys doing this before. So, all right, until then, stay safe. Hopefully you enjoyed the video.